ready to play ball. Come over to the bench and I'll get my jacket on and we'll talk about some equipment. Before we get into this lesson on how to pitch softball, I think it's important that we talk about the equipment a little bit, but since we're talking about the entire game, warming up is an important factor, and staying warm once you have warmed up is good, but the most important thing is once you've played the game is to make sure you don't just go and cool off quickly. Now we get down to my favorite glove here, my red, white, and blue glove that is sort of my trademark. You can't use one of these in your league because it's illegal. You have to use one of these brown ones or a darker. They have some laws about the white might distract you. The pitcher could use that some way to keep you from seeing the ball better. So they make you use a solid covered glove. And when you do use a glove, make sure you have a glove that does what it's really supposed to do for a pitcher. And that's to be large enough to cover it when you're trying to hide the way you're holding the ball from the batter. And this is one of the largest you can get. It's got my name on it. Made by McGregor, and this is important when you're playing the ball game, not so much to field the ball, but to hide the ball from the batter. I want to talk to you about balls. I have my own signature model ball. No longer has a Kapok center. It's made by McGregor and Harwood, but it's a cork center ball. That's the best type of ball to use for slow pitch. But if you're going to be pitching fast pitch, you're going to have to pitch a ball that has a Kapok center. And De Beer is one of the few companies that still make a Kapok center ball, and that's the kind of ball you should use for fast pitch. So if you're playing fast pitch, don't make your pitcher work as hard as he has to pitch throwing a cork center ball, because you just can't hardly do it. If you're young and you would like to play fast pitch, you no longer want to play lob ball or modified, you want to learn to throw windmill and slingshot, you're probably having trouble holding on to a 12-inch ball. Well, use an 11-inch ball. That'll hold. You can be able to grip the ball much better, and you'll hold it much better, and be able to learn the delivery, so that when you do get a hand that's a little bit stronger and larger, you can hold on to the 12-inch ball. I don't think they'll ever play much of the night ball they used to play in California. That's a 13, 14-inch ball. It was a tough game to play, but they do still play an awful lot of 16-inch ball in Chicago, the Windy City Leagues, and this is, well, that would be fun to swing at that. You couldn't miss it, but that's the whole idea. It's a technical game. You can hit anything you want to, but how you play it is another story. But no matter what you do, whether you're playing with 11-inch or the big 16-inch, just make sure that when you do warm up and wind up, that you do it slowly, and when you get all through, cool off slowly. Batting is a lot of fun. Big part of the game. Get up there and get a long hit. And I still believe that you can hit better with a better average if you're using a wooden bat. But a wooden bat has life to it. It has a little spring in it. Some of the metal bats do too, but some of them are just another piece of pipe. So when you pick out a bat, see if you can't get a bat that has a little life in it, feels like it has a little give. It may not. It needs to have something beside it, just a stern, solid piece of iron put together. We're going to have to learn to pitch in the years to come on cleats that are not made of metal. They passed a rule that in another year or two they're going to have to play with rubber cleats. There's been a lot of injuries. I can remember back through the years, there have been quite a few people cut open, and I understand it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it works, because The fact that you can get a better grip on the ground with these metal cleats is going to change the way you step and the way you land when you pitch your softball with rubber cleats, especially if you're not on AstroTurf. The thing that wears out the most on a softball pitcher is the right foot toe plate. Here's one I wore out pretty well, as you can see. That's been on sand about 2 weeks, about 14 or 15 games, and I change my toe plate about once a month. And it is of the old style. There's several styles of toe plates, but when you make the decision to put on a toe plate, it doesn't just fit on the way they made the shoe to start with. You have to take a sharp edge knife and trim off a little bit of this sole to fit so it just goes on even. Take an ice pick and pre-drill the holes with a little ice pick, and use your flathead sheet metal screws, not the ones they put in the little package with it, because they won't hold anything on. A little flat sheet metal screw, and even though it's worn, you can see how well the part that was put on, the sheet metal screw with the flat top, has been the strongest part of that. There's a great deal of strength when you pitch down into the ground with that toe plate that you don't have to feel on your sore toe when you're just pitching on a bare side of your foot. I think it's important to have shoes that fit you and a uniform that fits you. If you're lucky enough to have a sponsor that has given you a nice uniform with a new expanded type of cloth that has the modern feel to it, they aren't baggy like they used to be, and should fit you well. And if you can't, you take a little attention, because you can hurt your fingers when you're pitching the ball, picking up a piece of cloth on your pants as you throw by. And I also want to remind you that some of you that pitch good fast pitch, I hit my side, but I have a piece of cloth underneath there. It's a sliding pad that I've had made specially for me, but you can still buy sliding pads. And this little piece of extra cloth between you and the outside, when you slide your hand by and hit the side of your body, you're not supposed to hit the side of your body to help the ball curve, but you can pitch down so close to you that you can hear a little slap as your hand goes by. And that's legal. So put a little padding in there. You won't have to have that blue spot like I used to wear on my leg. Now that we're ready to go practice, let me show you something that's been helpful to me. This is the Eddie Feiner pitching target for practice. Now you can hang this net anywhere, on a frame like we have it here today, above the garage door so that when you open the door it hangs down, or an opening around the fence anywhere. Many times when I'd like to practice, I can't find anyone who'd like to catch me, so I have this net with target. Now, the target is in different colors to sort of set it out in your mind. The red, no-no zone, the white area where the umpire should be calling the strikes, and the blue area where you should be practicing throwing the ball. I think you'll find this net helpful in perfecting your delivery. It can also be used by little leaguers in baseball. If you'd like to have one of these, order from this address. Now let's get down to work. We'll go out to the mound. Sometimes you'll take the mound and the dirt is firm and flat. But more often than not, you'll find it looks like this. Deep hole, loose dirt. It's all important to feel comfortable on it. So before the game, check it out. Fill in the hole and tamp down the dirt around the hook. There's nothing in the rule to stop you from pitching it up. Before you do, Lord putting it to necessity of balance and taking the lower hole to control. Now everything's ready for you to begin throwing. Warm up first by throwing some overhanded. Stretch those shoulder muscles. And make sure you keep your arm covered, even in warm weather. Okay, let's break down the style and see how it's done, and start with the orthodox pitch. The ball is held with the first two fingers, like this. Remember to use your glove to hide the grip so that you do not autograph your pitches to the batter. Keep your eyes on the target. Watch the ball right into the catcher's glove. The orthodox pitch, like the slingshot, is from the side. That means you're going to open up and have an angle on your foot as you start to throw the orthodox pitch. The arm is taken back on a round, sweeping outside-in arc, and without stopping the momentum, brought down as low to the ground as possible with a long forward stride. The forward motion of the arm is straight to the target with the back of the hand toward the batter. You hold on to the ball and unlock the wrist as late as possible. The hold delivery is executed in an almost figure-8 pattern. Here's another look at it from a different angle. The release of the orthodox pitch is made by snapping the fingers out. With some practice, you can get the ball to raise, up, in, and out. To throw a drop, the hand must be turned over with a hard snap at the last second with the back of the hand toward the ground. This pitch takes a lot of work to perfect, but it's very effective. A changeup is thrown with an exaggerated coiling of the wrist, a little shorter stride, and a quicker release so the ball dances to the plate. Here's another slow motion view. Follow through is natural, and you should be in position to field the ball. The whip style is one of the offers of variety in delivery and is a good style for women to start with. The stance is with the left foot pointed toward the plate, and the right foot is slight angle out. In the whip pitch, the arm is brought back with a 120-degree rotation of the hips, as if you were looking at second base. The arm sweeps to the rear from the outside in until the ball is up behind your head. As you uncoil the body, the arm falls through a natural arc down past your hip and straight toward the plate. Here's a view in slow motion. You can see that the delivery is almost in the form of figure 8. The follow-through is completed by drawing your right foot up even with the left, ready to field your position. The drop is thrown with the thumb turned over toward the ground and with a shorter stride. Think of yourself throwing the ball off the fourth finger with a grip like this. Here's another slow motion view. Now watch the snap in slow motion. Basic raised pitch delivery is by holding the grip like this, so that the ball is held on the horseshoe, and when it's delivered up over the thumb, it comes out like this. When you're throwing raises and curves, the thumb is turned out, and the palm of the hand turned towards the body. In slow motion again. the knuckles. It's thrown with the end of your fingers. And you let it go with a stiff wrist so that it comes out without spinning. Wear your belt buckle over here on the side and not in the center, where you might hit it on your follow-through. In the slingshot delivery, the ball is brought straight back on a line from the plate as the hips rotate back about 45 degrees. The arm goes back on this arc till it is way up over the head. When you are going to throw a slingshot, you have to reset your foot. Here in slow motion you can see the extra distance the ball travels on the forward swing. The release and the follow-through in the slingshot delivery are the same as in the whip delivery. To get a straight ball, which is not a raise or drop, you throw a spinning spiral. Just as you let the ball go, you snap it like you would snap your fingers. There's where you get the extra speed. The slingshot drop allows the ball to be thrown with two fingers. It would be what we would call a crossfire drop. And you throw the thumb toward your body and let it go off in your fingers in sort of a crossfire motion like this instead of a drop motion. Now watch this release in slow motion. The straight raise is about the same as windmill, with the horseshoe of the ball and the seam. You get your thumb out of the way and come up underneath so that the ball goes over the top of your thumb. Look at it from this angle. A knuckleball is not really a knuckleball. In softball, you hold it out on the end of your fingers like this and let the ball go all at once. To change a pace, you flatten your hand out and still hang on to the smooth part of the leather and let the ball go out of your hand without letting it spin. You have to do some kneading of your hands with a ball or some device where you get your wrist and your fingers strong, because most of the women and some of the young boys and girls have weak wrists. You know how to throw the wind-up right, but you don't know how to snap it off. You know, I can't teach you to throw faster or run faster than you have natural talent to do. But with a little practice and technique, you might be able to improve. But it's like Bobby Feller used to say the last years he was in baseball. He still threw as hard as he used to. The ball just didn't go as fast. The most popular delivery today is the windmill, and it offers a maximum in speed and variation. Now, some of you would like to have the instep of your shoe on the edge of the plate. but you actually have legal right to spin 6 inches closer to the home plate and have a rocking motion between your feet because your feet are still in contact with the plate when they are this far apart. I'd like to address myself to the furor that's been caused in many World Series with the pitchers being called for illegal pitches for what we call crow hopping. Technically speaking, that's a form of legal cheating. If you crow hop a couple of inches and you just drag your foot, you can get away with that. But as time went on and they moved the pitcher's mound back to 46 feet, men who weren't large and didn't have a lot of strength got a little more power by crow hopping. You don't need to do that because that's not legal. The windmill delivery is started with a little rocking motion to add to many bits. First, you present the ball and start a forward press to bring the weight on the front foot. Shift the weight back to the left foot as you take the ball from the left. When your arm reaches the top of the arm, stride forward with your left foot. To get a straight ball, which is not a raise or drop, you throw a spinning spiral. Just as you let the ball go, you snap it like you would snap your fingers. Here's a look at it in slow motion. You start off with your straight drop, the same way as we used to throw the modified slow pitch. You let the ball go over the end of your fingers and lift a little bit on your wrist as you let it go past your body. Here's a slow motion view. The windmill raise, you turn the ball clockwise, tuck your finger on the end with the horseshoe of the seam in your fingers like this, and then get your thumb out of the way so that the raise can be thrown out, up, and over your thumb. Finish underneath. raised ball should be thrown out of the strike zone most of the time, unless you're going for a knee-high raise. The straight raise off the horseshoe only means that you're getting it farther out over the finger. If you turn it in your hand, it becomes an out raise, and later I hope that you'll learn enough to throw what we would call a curve out or a spinner, like this. Are the same as we've seen in the figure 8 and slingshot, except that the drop is released off the hip. The raise forward of the hip with a longer stride. The change of pace, or the knuckleball, is thrown off of the smooth part of the leather, so that the knuckleball, which is really not a knuckleball, but at the end of your fingertips ball, can be launched without spinning it out of your hand fast. Here's a pitch that we can show you in slow motion without adjusting the camera. This knuckleball really works. To change of pace, you flatten your hand down on it, and as you let it go, you turn it out behind your hand to delay the pitch to the batter. And there's another way you can throw the change, letting the batter think it's going to be a fast drop, is letting it go open and let everything go at once. Let everything go at once and just let it launch out of your hand like that. Here's a pitch I like to throw. Once it was legal to throw any windup you could think of. It's called the whirligig. It happens so fast that the batter doesn't see it coming. there you have the different styles of pitching. Pick the one you'd like to use and practice. Throw a ball of yarn into a mirror to check your style, especially if you change your pace. Remember, practice does not make perfect. It makes permanent. Good luck.